Yes. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, my friends. Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Excuse me. Okay. So, what's up, everybody? If you don't mind, as you come in, please share the video, like the video, and invite your friends. Share the video, like the video, and invite your friends. My name is Nicole Pludre. I'm a person in long-term recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. I am a person also that utilizes medication-assisted treatment, as in Suboxone. I love to make content about my experiences in active addiction, my experience now in recovery, and just overall, I really enjoy helping people. And so, if you like helping people and you like watching content about addiction and recovery, this is the place for you. So don't be shy. Come on in, hang out with me, and let's chat about all the stuff that happened in my active addiction. So I wanted you guys to know that if you have any questions, you can ask me anything today and I will be answering them. No holds barred. Okay. I just, really want to give y'all the opportunity to get to know me better. Because I know a lot of you guys are new here on my channel. And so if you have questions, bring it. Bring the good questions, baby. Okay, there's that. So I know I already got some questions on my community tab, so I'm going to be answering those, but I'm going to give people a little bit to get here because I do know that a lot of people were in my live earlier that were watching that had questions, and I don't want to leave you guys out, so I'm going to wait a little bit. We're going to be putting on some makeup today as we chit chat, so that will keep us busy and occupied as I talk. So I always start out my makeup with sunblock. Okay. So this is the Peter Thomas Roth 45 Defense, and this is the glow screen. It's 40, but it's got a tint to it. So I mix them together for the perfect shade. And so I always put this on too. And it's like a brown color. Since you live in the same town, do you get triggered when you pass by the places you used to go in active addiction? How do you handle that? Ooh, that's a great question. Abby, good job. Good question. So I grew up in Hot Springs. I don't live there anymore. But I used here in Little Rock as well. So it's a great question. So I will tell you this. Hot Springs triggers the fuck out of me. I grew up there and it feels to me just like a black hole. Especially when I was still living there, I felt like I was never going to be able to escape the clutches of Hot Springs, Arkansas. And if you know anybody else that lives there, they'll tell you the same thing. A lot of people have the same experience that I had. And the crime there is just getting worse and worse. And so I'm glad I was able to leave when I did. But going back there triggers me. I go there to see my mom and dad a lot. And they actually live in the village. So I don't have to go into town where I used to be all the time using drugs, right? But I will tell you a story. So a couple months back, my friend Matt was in the hospital because of his alcoholism. And I wanted to go visit him and see him. And the hospital that he was at was, kind of near where I would get high at. And so when I went down there to see him, I remember I felt so uncomfortable. But the way that I combated that was I didn't go alone. I took my husband and my son with me. And that really, really helped me a lot. Without my husband and my son with me, I feel like I would have struggled a lot more and felt a lot more uncomfortable. Hold on, I'm going to open this window, y'all, because I feel like it's a little dark in here. Is that better, y'all? Let me know. Let me know if that's a little more light. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Without my husband and my son to, support me, I feel like I might have felt a little bit more uncomfortable. Now, I'm 8 years sober, so I'm really far removed from my active addiction. And what I have found in my experience with recovery is that the farther I am from my addiction, the better off I feel. Like the farther I am from those experiences, the more I get healed. You know what I mean? And so, but that wasn't always the case. That was not always the case. And when I was triggered and when I did struggle, right, I didn't go to those places where I felt uncomfortable. Like I was really mindful of the way I was feeling. And that's really important to listen to your mind and to feel the way you're feeling and to respect boundaries with yourself in sobriety. Just because you're sober doesn't mean that you should be able to go and run amok anywhere you want to go, right? Like what I mean by that is you can work up to that. Take your time, okay? Let yourself heal. Let yourself heal from those experiences that you had in that area. Reach out to other people that are in recovery and talk to them about how you're feeling. That's one of the main things that really helps me to take the power away from any triggers that I have. Because at the end of the day, a trigger is just something that you're thinking, okay? It has no power over you. You have the power, okay? Without you, that trigger is null and void because you're the one who takes action. So without you, that trigger can't do, what's the trigger got to walk up and go and do its own thing? You know what I mean? You have to perform it. And so without you, it is nothing. And that's what you got to remember. You got to remember that you are in charge. You have the power today. You have the power to make good choices. You have the power to stay sober. You have the power to turn around and go the opposite direction instead of the direction that's triggering you and making you feel uncomfortable. And stop giving all this power to things that don't have power, right? Like we literally give our power over to our triggers. That's what puts them into action. They are nothing without us. Okay. And when you realize that and you take your power away from those things, then you'll see how easy it is then. Then you're like, oh, okay, well, she's right. I don't have to do those things. Today, I can choose to do the right thing and I can choose to stay sober. I can choose to go the long way instead of going down the road where I used to cop crack. That was a big thing for me and my husband here in Little Rock was we used to cop crack a lot here in Little Rock, all up and down the streets of downtown Little Rock and shit, or right there around University and 12th Street. And that's like a main thoroughfare, but we would take the long way. Sometimes you just got to do that. That's how I feel about that. Okay, I'm getting to y'all's questions. I'm going to do them one by one. So wait just a second. I'm going back up. Okay, good question. So Miranda says, I've been on methadone for 5 years. I'm on 80 milligrams and I'm finally coming off of it. My counselor asked my goal and I said, by the end of next summer, I want to be off of it. Do you think that is possible? Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think that's a great time span. I think another year is a great, gives you enough time to make mistakes if you make any mistakes. So, the way that I would do it if I was you with methadone is I would talk to my methadone clinic and see if they do blind tapering. And what that is it's where they take away the milligrams and you don't know how much they're taking away. So they take away the milligrams and then before you know it, you're down to like 5 milligrams. And so every time you go into dose, or they'll change it like monthly. They won't do it every time you dose. It would be like a monthly thing. Every month they would do a dose adjustment and take away a little bit. And so, yeah, I think that's absolutely doable. And I know you're going to do great. Question. I just am so tired of being on methadone. I want to have another baby and I don't want to do it on methadone this time. It's just a goal of mine. I just want your opinion. Yeah, I totally understand not wanting to be on methadone while you are pregnant. If you've had experiences with that before and it's just something that you don't want to do again, I absolutely respect that. And you can absolutely get off of methadone by next summer. Absolutely. Just listen to your body, take it slow, don't rush, you know what I'm saying? Just take it one day at a time. One day at a time, listen to your body. Hey Amber, what's up, girl? So yeah, so the lower you go, the less of the medication is in your system, and so it's going to get a little bit harder the lower you go, but here's the thing, you guys. Like, I'm telling you, with those blind tapers, I feel personally, in my personal opinion, and y'all know I'm not a doctor or nothing, I'm just a girl with a drug addiction. In my personal opinion, doing a blind taper is the best way to taper, because it takes away the psychological effect of it. It takes away the obsession. Okay. So we all know how bad our minds are, right? How much we get into that. Okay. For example, how many of y'all bitches, when y'all taper and y'all be Googling and watching other people's taper programs, be watching other people on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, watching them go through their taper? Do not do that. Do not watch other people's experience, because you're going to compare your experience to theirs, and you're going to get yourself in a rut. You're going to find yourself in a position where you're thinking you're not doing good enough because Johnny Boy on TikTok, he tapered down in 5 months. Why can't I? And you start comparing your experience to theirs, and it plays mind games with you. It plays tricks on your mind. And so when I tell people, when they're tapering and I'm helping somebody, I tell them to get their motherfucking nose out of social media and off the fucking internet, and keep their mind busy with activities, family things, things with their kids, projects at home, fucking, I don't know, demolition, do a new, paint your kid's bedroom, like find something to really keep your mind busy that has nothing to do with you tapering. Okay. Because I just from my experience working with drug addicts for the last 4.5, 5 years, in my experience, one of the main problems people have during benzo taper, during opioid tapers, and I know this because I answer the phones and talk to these people every single day, and they're telling me, Nicole, I've been Googling about my benzo withdrawal. I've been Googling about this. I've been looking up that. I've been watching this. I've been doing that. And I'm just like, and they tell me how afraid they are and how they're comparing their journey to somebody else's journey. Do you know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, you want to do a little research, but honestly, there's really not anything you can do, because you're not them, and your experience is going to be totally different than someone else's experience that you Google online or watch on TV. You have to give yourself the opportunity to let your body do the way it's going to do. And like I said, keeping yourself busy with healthy habits, activities with your family and support system, that is like crucial in your success on any kind of taper. That's how I was able to taper so easily off of my mental health meds, because I kept my mind busy with other shit. I kept my mind busy. Okay, next question. Let's see. Y'all are commenting a lot. I love it. I was on 100. Okay, here we go. Oh, you mean after Nate? Nicole, did you and Neil ever want another baby after Nate? Great question. Great question. So many people ask me that question, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, okay? When I think about having kids, I think about how much it costs to raise a child. And I'm not the kind of woman who's like, I want another baby. I just want to have a baby. No, I love my life today because me and my husband and my son can actually do things. We can actually go to the park or go out to eat or buy my son a new pair of shoes if his shoes fuck up, or buy him his motor scooter for Christmas, buy him his Oculus for Christmas, buy him his PS5, buy him his own computer. I couldn't do that if I had another child. Okay. And so instead of being selfish and having another kid because I want to have another kid, right? I say, no, it's not the smart thing to do. Financially, it would ruin us. Okay. And we wouldn't be able to do anything. And we're already, like, now we're getting to the point where the economy is catching up with me and my husband now. And we're starting to struggle now. For the first couple of years after 2020 and 2021, we were okay. And 2022, we were okay. 2023, I'm starting to feel it. My budget is getting tight, honey. And so as much as I would love to have another kid, like a daughter or something, I've always wanted a little girl. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to have a little girl, and I wanted to name her Nadia Marie Pludre. But nope, too expensive. Not going to put myself in that position or bring another little baby into the world that I can't take care of. Morning, you guys. Morning, Stephanie. I just feel trapped. Okay, so I want to talk about Miranda's comment. So Miranda says, I just feel trapped. Okay. I hate that you feel that way. You know what I mean? But I understand. I really do understand. And I'm not highlighting your comment to embarrass you or make you feel some type of way. I'm just wanting to share another perspective, which is my perspective. Okay. So that's I don't feel like that. And that's the difference, how we're all so different. Being on medication assisted treatment has afforded me so many luxuries in my life that I normally wouldn't have been able to have because I wouldn't have been able to maintain long-term sobriety. And so to me, MAT has given me my freedom back, And so, but I do understand that some people, like, they struggle with, maybe they don't. I have a really great system going on. I have a really great, doctor and situation where I don't have to see my doctor in person every month anymore. I just get my medication and go on about my day. And it's real easy. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy. I've gotten it all flows, but I do understand, the feeling of being tied down to something. And I guess what I look at it as this medication, instead of me looking like being tied down to it, I look at it as in, like, it enabled me to do the things I'm able to do today. You know what I mean? And so that's how, different all of us are. Some people feel really, really negatively about being on medication, any kind of medication, and then some people, it has, done the opposite for that other person and has given that other person a really, great chance at life again, And so, I hate that you feel that way, but I understand it. And I just know that you're going to be successful. If you keep that in mind and you stay focused, you'll be able to get off of it just fine. And you will be successful in doing that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to tell you that. Okay. I would be jobless and relapsing left and right if I wasn't on Matt. Yeah, Kale. I don't know how, I feel like I've gotten to a point now in my life where I don't want to relapse anymore. But I just really, I'm just so grateful that there is a medication that helped me save my life. You know what I mean? Because I did struggle for so many years to get and stay sober. It was a really, really hard time for me, you guys, staying sober. Um, I wish that I could have had it easier and gotten sober the first couple of times, but I failed miserably, and so we're all different. And, I love everybody here. I respect all of your sobrieties. At the end of the day, as long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're taking our medication like we're supposed to take our medication. We're not out here fucking getting fucked up and selling our medications or, doing scandalous ass shit, then that's all that matters, And a lot of us have come a really long way from being scandalous and doing scandalous ass shit all the time. You know what I mean? So, anyway. Okay, let me see what else y'all got to say. And just so y'all know, for everybody that's coming in, today is Q&A day. You can ask me anything you want to ask me, and I'll answer it no matter what. Okay? Okay. No, you're okay, Miranda. Good job, Kale. I'm proud of you, man. Sherry says, I've been on Matt for going on 12 years now. And I know it really helped me, but sometimes I do wish I could just be on nothing at all. Yeah, and listen to me, y'all. You can get off of any MAT you want to get off of. Okay, if that's something that you want to do, sit down and weigh out all the pros and cons of what you're deciding to do. Okay, and get ready. You have to prepare yourself, right? Prepare yourself for the battle of the taper. And as long as you're in a good headspace and you're ready to take on your taper, you'll do okay. That's what happened for me with my mental health medication. Okay, I had been on Lexapro and Wellbutrin for about 7 or 8 years. The whole time I've been sober, I've been on these medications. Okay, but they were not helping me anymore. They were no longer helping me. I didn't need them, right? I moved out of my mother-in-law's house and I got my own place, and my depression lifted magically. What do you know? And so when I moved in here in November, I started to feel less depressed. I started to feel more active. I wanted to do more things. I wanted to get outside and do things. And so that's when I realized that I was ready to start coming off of my mental health medications. And so honestly, I didn't overthink it. I didn't overfocus on it. All I did was I made sure that I titrated down little by little over an extended period of time. And then the next thing I know, I was completely off of them and I feel great. And I had no problems coming off at all. I had no withdrawals. I had no weird feelings. Like, I successfully tapered myself off of Lexapro and Wellbutrin without putting myself into a sickness. And the reason why that was because I tapered really, really slow, really, really low. And I literally was biting crumbs off of my pills. Okay. I was biting crumbs and then skipping days and then skipping 2 days. I mean, I did it so slow. And I honestly really listened to the way my body felt. And I didn't watch anybody else's experience coming off of pills. I just focused on the way I felt. And as long as I was feeling okay, I would keep going. If I didn't feel okay, I paused for a couple days. Oh, thanks, Jessica. I appreciate that. I'm glad I can be entertaining to you. I really am. I enjoy entertaining y'all. Hey, Doris. Hey, Lulu. Okay, so I want to talk about this comment about teeth, okay? So, okay, listen up, you guys, because there's so many people that talk about Lulu. This isn't directed towards you, but there's so many people that talk about MAT damaging their teeth. Okay, I really want to ask you guys something. When you were in active addiction, were you taking good care of your teeth, or did you not go to the dentist? So, to stay healthy and have healthy teeth, you're supposed to see the dentist every 6 months for a routine checkup slash cleaning. Can any of you guys say that you went to see the dentist every 6 months throughout your whole addiction? If you can't say that you did, then a lot of the reasons why our teeth fuck up is because of our poor dental hygiene in active addiction, combined with the dry mouth that is caused by methadone and Suboxone. Okay. And so that's why this whole Suboxone class action lawsuit thing, it's really not going to pan out for very many people, because those people can't prove that they have been getting their teeth checked up and cleaned every 6 months since before they were using drugs. And that is the information that they would have to have in order to prove, you know? So I think people forget, that that's why our teeth are messed up, because a lot of us, like me, I'm talking about myself, okay? Um, a lot of us, when we got into our active addiction, we stopped going to the dentist. We stopped going to all the doctors. And, I brushed my teeth like obsessively in active addiction, but that's not the same as going to the doctor, having your teeth looked at, having your gums looked at, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really a combination of our poor choices and, medication. And so, it sucks, look at me. I lost a front fucking tooth because of my lack of dental hygiene during my active addiction. Okay. Do you know how devastated I was when that fucking tooth came out? I thought my husband was going to leave me. I thought he would never want to be with me anymore because I was a fucking toothless wonder. Okay. It was so mortifying. It was humiliating to go into the dentist's office after 5-6 years of not being to the dentist's office, because even in my sobriety, I didn't want to go to the fucking dentist office. And that's how important it is. Our teeth are like, they're connected to our heart. They're connected to so much of what operates in our body. And if we're neglecting the teeth that are in our mouth, we're doing ourselves a disservice. And I did myself a disservice for 5 years while I was in sobriety. Okay. And because of that, I have a missing front tooth. So, all I can tell you guys is you need to go to the dentist. You need to go to the dentist. You have to, you guys. You have to go to the dentist, okay? You can't just brush your teeth. You have to go to the dentist. Yay, having coffee and relaxing. Good. You have to go to the dentist. You guys, it's so important. Like, it's so important. Okay. I would have never guessed that I had 55% bone loss on my bottom jaw and 55% bone loss on my top jaw. That's all from periodontal disease and lack of dental hygiene during active addiction. Okay. Because what has happened because of my lack of dental hygiene, okay, was my gums started to recede from my teeth. Okay. And that caused pockets to form between my tooth and the gum where food and bacteria could live. And baby, that food and bacteria got in there and lived and rotted my fucking jawbones away. Okay. So I am telling you firsthand from my own personal experience, you have to go to the dentist every 6 months. If you're not, you're going to get fucked. I'm telling you, you've got to do it. Don't learn the hard way like I did. Okay. It sucks. It really does suck losing a tooth. Oh, that's awesome. Pop on veneers. What kind do you use? Maybe you can let everybody know what kind you use if they need some. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not picking on you, Lulu. I just want y'all to understand how important it is to do your due diligence with your mouth. I didn't even realize how important it was. Now, my little boy, I am so on his ass. We went to the dentist 2 weeks ago or last week. I can't remember. And cleaning his teeth and I told her, I said, get in his ass. And she was like, Nathaniel, you have got to make sure that you're flossing and brushing, because even at a young age, like my little boy's teeth are like the same way mine are. His gums are like the same way mine are. And so we are predispositioned to periodontal disease. And so like it runs in my family. So my son, I had to get the dentist to get on to him about taking care of his teeth because it's so important. Okay. Okay, so let's see with this one. Okay, so just so y'all know, everybody, this is a Q&A day, okay? Any questions you want to ask, you can ask me. It doesn't matter if it's about my life, addiction, social media, my parenting style, anything that you want to know, all you got to do is put it in the comments, and I'm going one by one down the comment section, okay? So this question says, hey, I asked my doc if I was going to have to be on subs for the rest of my life. And he said, we don't know. We'll have to see. Then I heard that docs didn't want to keep people on it too long 9 years ago. So honestly, it's a case-by-case basis, just a sub, okay? So your doctor is getting to know you right now. So he can't tell you for certain how long you're going to need to be on Suboxone. Do you want to know why? Because that all determines on you, okay? It all determines on what are you willing to do? How far are you willing to go in your sobriety journey to get to where you need to go? If you start out and you're on subs and you are, overtaking your medication, selling it, trading it for other drugs, relapsing, lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, and doing all those things and not making positive changes in your life, then you'll probably be on the medication longer than you want to be on it. But if you start out, hit the ground running, ready to make changes, okay, get into therapy, get into some strong recovery groups where you have like-minded people that can help you on your recovery journey. Okay. Start making healthy choices in your life, taking care of your body and your mind, and working gainful employment, doing activities that are healthy for you. Then you could be on Suboxone 6 months and get to a point where you say, hey, I'm stable. I feel great. I'm ready to taper. Or it could take a year, or it could take 3 months, or it could take 2 years. I will tell you that the studies show that the longer a person is on MAT, the less they are to relapse. So, but it's totally up to you how long you stay on this medication. Okay. You could stay on it for a short time, a long time, or an in-between time. It's really all up to you. And it's all up to the decisions and the behaviors that you exhibit while you're utilizing the medication. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate that. I really do. Okay, this is a great question. Okay. Did my mom and dad do the tough love with me? No. You tell me if this is tough love or not. Okay. So when my parents realized that I was really bad off in my addiction, I was still living with them, and they kicked me out. I wasn't allowed to live underneath their roof anymore unless I was sober. And so I didn't plan on getting sober. So I moved out. And I started sleeping on my friend's couch. And but my parents always told me if and when I was ready to get sober, all I had to do was call them and they would help me. And they did. Every time I needed help or needed to go to treatment, I could call my mom and dad and they would take me to treatment. They would come to my family groups at the treatment center. They would bring me, home cooked meals when I lived in sober living. They visited me every visitation I had while I was locked up in prison. Okay. So my parents were there for me. They supported me and they loved me. Did they want me to still use drugs? No. Did they allow me to be around them when I was fucked up high out of my mind? No. They asked me not to come around when I was like that because it broke their heart. It broke my mom and dad's heart to see me in the position that I was in. But they didn't turn their back on me. They still allowed me a connection with them. They still allowed me to come to family functions and, do Christmas and Thanksgiving and all those things. They didn't treat me like I was dead or not, a part of the family anymore. They were amazing. My mom and dad are like the perfect example of like what you should do if you're a parent and your kids are struggling with addiction. My mom and dad are a very great example of middle of the road, right? Not turning their back totally on me, but not allowing me to run amok through their lives and affect their lives in a negative way. And the reason why they were like that is because they learned the hard way. I was so bad that my mom and dad almost got a divorce because my mom was keeping secrets from my dad about what I was going through. And so when that happened, my parents realized that they're not going to let their daughter come between their relationship and their love for each other. And so they had to be a united front. And so my mom and dad created a united front, and they stood up against me and didn't allow me to just do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So they're amazing. My mom would never, not let me have food. She always gave me water. She always included me on birthdays and Christmas. And they didn't treat me like I was, a second-rate citizen. Sure, they were disappointed in me and they wanted me to be sober, but they were always there for me. Always. Okay, so Miranda says she uses the brand Shiny Smile Veneers. If anybody has, insecurities and wants to do that, that's the kind she uses. Good morning, Kosova. What's up? Okay, here's a great question. Pixie says, how do you keep motivated when you have a lot of negative things going on in your head? Well, first of all, negative stuff happens to me all the time, right? I got like a crew of haters that hate me and people that make content about me, you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. But you know what? I really don't let it bother me. Now, if stuff is going on in my mind that is negative, right? I don't let it fester. Okay. When I'm struggling with negative thoughts, I talk about how I feel. And I will say this forever until I'm blue in the face. Okay. But the thing that helps me so much in my recovery is talking about how I'm feeling and not being ashamed of it and not being embarrassed about it. Okay. I don't give a damn if I've known you for 20 minutes or 70 years. If I'm struggling, I'm talking about it and I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed and I don't care what anybody thinks about it because baby, I got to get that shit up off me. Okay. I got to get it out of me. I got to get it off me and I got to talk about it. And that has helped me so much to stay sober for as long as I've stayed sober for. Okay. If I didn't do that shit, I would be busting at the seams. Okay. I would be busting. I would be tripping out. I would be struggling. I would literally be like a fucking, pop. Okay. A tornado. what's it called? A damn volcano. Okay. It is so important. It is so important to get out of your own head and to talk about what you're struggling with and what you're going through. If you don't feel comfortable telling the whole world your business like I do, okay, you can get online and find a therapist and go see a therapist on telehealth or in person if you like that better. But you have to make the changes. If you can sit at home and talk about how miserable you are and how negative you feel and how you know disappointed you are and hurt or whatever the case may be, but if you're just sitting there and talking about it and you're not taking action to change it, then that's how you're going to remain. You're going to remain miserable. Okay. And so you have to do things to change that life, or else you're just going to stay that way. You know, when I'm struggling with negative thoughts, I talk about how I'm feeling. And I have a really strong inner voice of myself, like my inner self, right? Ever since I was a little kid, my dad taught me that I needed to work hard. I needed to pay my bills. I needed to keep my credit score good. I needed to make sure I didn't miss any payments on my car payment and my insurance. And like responsibility has like been something that has been driven into my soul for a really long time. So at the core of my being, I am a hard worker, responsible, dependable person. So when I'm having moments where I feel unmotivated or I feel, negative thoughts about myself, I push myself. I push myself past those thoughts, because I mean, I would be lying to you if I told you that, oh yeah, I'm like always happy and I just think I'm the best and this and that and the third. No, I have insecurities. Obviously, I struggle very much so with insecurities. And if I let myself focus on those insecurities, okay, here's an example. My weight is a huge insecurity of mine. Huge struggle, okay? I could focus on how fat I am and be miserable every single day. I could be disappointed in myself every single day. Or I can accept myself the way I am. And that's where I've gotten to. I've gotten to a point in my life and the age that I'm at where I accept me the way I am. And honestly, it's the best feeling in this whole wide world to be able to look at yourself and accept yourself the way you are and be like, I'm beautiful. You know what I mean? And so that's what helps me. What has helped me is accepting myself the way I am. Sure. Do I want to make positive changes for the future? Yeah. But I'm going to do them at the rate that I can do them. And that's healthy for me. I'm not going to push myself and hurt myself because of what society tells me I should be or what other people's opinions of me are. Okay. I'm going to do what is best for me. And what's best for me and what helps me and where I can actually maintain it is making small life changes over time that I can sustain. And so I don't let negative thoughts fester in my mind. I don't let that shit stay for too long. Like, there's some situations where like on social media or something like that, maybe I'm in a drama scandal or something is happening or just something like that, but even with that, like, I don't let that shit sit and marinate. You know what I mean? I know who I am. Okay. I know what I'm here for. I know my purpose. I know my heart. And that's the thing. I think that when you get to a point in your life where you know who you are confident in that, then that helps a lot more to fight off those negative, thoughts that can be intrusive in our mind. The more you focus on intrusive thoughts, I feel like the more it feeds into it. So I don't focus on that. I don't let myself get too far into beating myself up about things. I really, really do just focus on making positive changes and helping others. And I think that's what really helps me with my own self-esteem and my own feelings of self-worth is I'm always trying to help somebody else, right? I'm telling y'all right now, if you're fucking struggling, if you're feeling some type of way, Get outside of your own motherfucking head and help somebody else and watch how much better you feel after that. Okay? Just start helping people. Okay? It could be something as little as seeing a little old lady at the grocery store unpacking her groceries. Okay? And she's struggling because they're heavy. And you walk over and you get the groceries unloaded for her. Okay? Just start doing little acts of kindness like that. And watch how much it helps with your own mental health. Come back and let me know. I'm telling you, it'll make a difference. Okay, here we go. Are there any natural ways to deal with ADHD while you're on MAT? Okay. Yeah. 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 Therapy, and therapy. Okay. So for me, okay, I have had to learn how to cope with my mental health, like life on life's terms kind of deal, right? And so learning how to cope and learn new coping skills has helped me a lot. So one thing I struggle with is I like to get things done, but what I will do is I will start all the things at the same time instead of doing them one by one and getting them done. I will have about 3 projects going at one time, right? That's like one of my worst traits, okay? So what I will do when I notice myself doing that is I'll back myself up and I'll say, okay, which one do I want to tackle first? Which one is the one I'm going to spend time on? I'm not going to sit here and try to do 3 things at one time. I'm going to actually tackle one thing at a time, right? And so that's what really helps me is therapy, learning new coping skills, talking about how I feel, reaching out for help. Now, if you're talking about natural medications for ADHD, I don't know about supplements now, and I don't want to tell you all about supplements that I don't know about because I don't want to tell you anything that's not safe. There are medications out there that are non-stimulant medications that you can get prescribed for your ADHD that could be really helpful to you. Don't, just because it's not a stimulant, don't knock it out. It might really make a difference. So I know that, for a lot of us that struggled with addiction, we don't want to take a stimulant medication for our ADHD. So getting on something that's non-stimulant could really, really help you, But that's what I would do. I would definitely learn some new coping skills and get into therapy to help me with that. My meetings. These morning lives are kind of like my meetings and they really help with my recovery. So I totally agree. Also, does magnesium vitamins actually help with tapering and withdrawal? Magnesium helps a lot with anything. My husband takes magnesium because he works out in the sun a lot. So yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why it couldn't help. Too much of anything is not a good idea though, Hold on, y'all. I'm posting this for my job really fast. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm kind of doing 2 things at once. See what I'm saying? Okay. I'm horrible about this. I'm horrible. Ah! Okay, that looks done. Okay, let's go back. Let's see what we got. Yay, share. Thank you. So I want to read this question. Thanks, Doris, for this comment. Doris says if she comes off too quickly, she knows she would relapse. So when she's ready, then she'll taper. The loss of her son took her 13 years to have. So and my brother and her brother got shot when she was younger. So she has a lot of trauma. So yeah, Doris, take your time. Okay, so like, who are we rushing? Why? Are we competing with somebody else? Is this a race to see who can get off Suboxone and methadone the fastest? You know what I mean? Like, Nobody else that's doing their thing, we shouldn't be concerned about them, right? And so that's what I always tell people, like, who are you in a race with? Like, the only person I'm competing with is myself from yesterday. Like, I want to do better today than I was yesterday. So take it slow. Don't worry about what other people think. A lot of people are going to have opinions and try to rush you or say this or that. Fuck those people. Fuck those people. That's what I have to say. Fuck those people. People who try to make you feel inadequate or less than about your recovery because you're utilizing a medication, those people are pieces of shit. And it says more about them and their lack of recovery than it does about you and your recovery. Because any healthy, sober person isn't going to have an opinion on your sobriety because they're worried about their own sobriety. You know what I mean? Fuck those people. Okay. Let's see. This is a great question. I see. Okay, Kat, let's see. What is your advice? A close family friend is asking to parole to my house in about 9 months, and I'm torn. I want to help, but I'm unsure what to do. So, Kat, I'm going to assume that you're in sobriety, you're in recovery too, and I'm going to keep it so fucking real with you, okay? No. They can parole out. They need to parole out to a sober living facility or a transitional housing facility where they can learn to be on their own 2 feet. Okay? You can be there to support them. You can help them with rides to work. You can bring them lunch. You can let them have weekend passes and stay the night at your house on the weekend or something like that, right? But when they get out of prison, okay, they need to utilize the resources that are available to them and come out and get on their own 2 feet. When I came out of prison, first of all, I was banned from Garland County. They wouldn't even allow me to go back to my mom and dad's house because they wouldn't allow me to come back to the county I lived in. So I had to parole out to a sober living house. I had to get gainful employment. When I got gainful employment, then my mother and father gave me my car back. Okay. I paid my rent. I paid my car payment and insurance. I had gainful employment. I went to meetings. I was doing all the things. Okay. A lot of the times, I understand when people come out of prison, they're struggling or they might need a hand up. But sometimes, like, they need to make their own way and learn through their own experiences. And when somebody has people always coming to their rescue, always letting them come out to their house and parole out here and there. I had a guy that was always going into prison, right? And he would always parole out to different people's houses when he would get out. And he would always end up back in prison because he never really had to, like, he was always being taken care of by somebody else, like at some point it's time for you to make your own way. Like if this person struggled with drugs or alcohol and they really want to be successful, like getting out, getting into therapy, getting into sober living, having that support system and support group, it's going to make them feel even better because they're going to be doing it on their own terms. They're going to be the ones who are going to be able to make their own way, get their own apartment. I mean, it sucks having to depend on somebody else and live in somebody else's home. And I wouldn't want to disrupt my already stable lifestyle to bring somebody else in that I don't know how they're going to act. I don't know if when you get out of prison, you're going to act right and not fucking go back to your life of crime or drugs. So baby, I'm not chancing it. That's what I got to say about that. And I would say this to my own damn sister. Please believe. Okay. Please believe. And that's not me being mean. That's just like straight up, you guys. Like, There is transitional housing created just for people that are coming out of prison to get on their feet and start their new lives. You know what I mean? And so I would really, really encourage this person to do that and get and utilize the services that are being provided to them by the prison system, the state. Do you guys think AI is going to replace people on social media? Hold on. I'm posting a video from my boss, and it's about AI replacing content creators. I don't think so. I don't think it looks real enough for it to happen, but that's just my opinion. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Thanks, you guys. I'm all right, love. I'm the same way. I walk into rooms in my house and ask, why did I walk in here? What am I looking for? Yeah. I know my hair is so long, you guys. Thank you for noticing. I have been letting it grow out. Thank you. My doctor, let's see what Nikki says. Nikki says, I've been on Suboxone for 7 years. My doctor told me that since I've been on it for so long that I will never be able to get off. What do you think about that? I think that is motherfucking bullshit. I think it's bullshit. You can do anything that you want to do. If you want to get off Suboxone in the future, you can get off Suboxone in the future. If you want to stay on Suboxone for the rest of your life, you can stay on Suboxone for the rest of your life. But no, anybody can do anything they want to do. I was on mental health medications for, like I said, almost 8 years. And I'm off of all those mental health medications and I'm doing better than I've ever done. Like, don't let people tell you things just that he doesn't know you. All he knows is what you show him when you see him at the doctor's office. Okay. So if you want to get off of medication assisted treatment, you can do that. It just takes time. Okay. If you want, you can get on Sublocade. Sublocade is a once a month buprenorphine injection. A lot of people are using Sublocade now to get off of Suboxone, and they are able to walk off of Sublocade or walk off Sublocade with no withdrawals. Okay. They're literally taking like 5 or 6 shots, which you get one a month. And then they are experiencing no withdrawal. Okay. After being off of it for like a year. So don't ever let anyone tell you. Don't ever let anybody tell you shit. Okay. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel back in like 2017, 2018, and my husband was laughing at me. He was like, you're never going to like social media, Nicole? Really? What are you going to be, an influencer? And I was like, oh, watch me, baby. Watch me. And his tune changed mighty fine in 2019 when I got a job from it and was actually able to make money for our family. So never, ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something, because you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything. Good, Kat. I'm glad I could help you, baby. And I'm not trying to be mean. Like, you just don't need that. Like, your life is settled. You have a good life. You have your own place. You're comfortable. You're peaceful. Like, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, him making his own way would really help him. Okay, let's read this comment. My son paroled out to my house a month ago, and he is not changing. If he was at a sober living house, he'd be acting right. Exactly. Because he knows he can manipulate mom. He knows that he can get over on mom. And so now it's time for mom to put her foot down and kick his ass out. Kick his ass out and make him start fresh. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's your fucking house, you know? Okay. During previous relapses, what were some of the contributing factors? Oh, you mean when I used to relapse all the time? The main contributing factor and the main reason I would relapse was because I kept hanging out with people who were getting high. That was the main reason why I would relapse every single time, was because I would get sober and then I would think I could hang out with people who were taking 7 bars a day, or I could hang out with people who were drinking alcohol, or I could hang out with people who were shooting methamphetamine. I could not let go of the lifestyle. I still wanted to surround myself with the people, places, and things that were doing felonious shit. And so that's why I would relapse every single time. Every single time. Okay, let's see what this says. Willow Sun says, Nicole, do you think that people that don't want help really don't want help, or do you think they can't change, or that they think they don't deserve a better life? It's a combination, okay? It's a combination of shame. It's a combination of, building that habit. That's a habit that they've been living in for a very long time. Okay? So for a lot of people at the beginning of their addiction, they don't want to change because they're reaping the benefits of using drugs, right? Getting high is something they enjoy doing. At some point in life, though, in that addiction, something shifts and the drugs stop working as well. And so it starts to become miserable as fuck, right? I believe that a lot of people believe that they can't get better. I believe that a lot of people don't think that they're worth getting better. I believe a lot of people are in denial and don't realize how bad that their situation is. A lot of people who struggle with addiction and alcoholism will tell you that their situation is really not that bad, and they'll make excuses for themselves, and they don't even recognize it themselves that they are really in too deep. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a combination for everybody. Sure, I'm sure there are some people out there who are just like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I believe most people want help. They just don't know how to get it, or how to maintain staying sober. And so, yeah. Yeah, so here's the thing, okay? I talk to people every single day who I will give suggestions to. I will tell them exactly what they need to do to change their life. And they won't do that. They will do everything that I tell them not to do. Okay. They will deny that they have a problem, or they'll say things like, I'll say, well, have you tried this? And every suggestion that I have, they will have an answer to why they cannot utilize that suggestion. Okay. So, people have to get to a point in their life where they're ready to make a change and they actually do it. You know what I mean? And I don't think anybody can force anybody into that. I feel like it has to happen naturally. That's what happened to me. It happened naturally over time. My experiences and my consequences became tragic and serious enough to where I was actually willing to make the change and turn my life around. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to live my life like that anymore. Oh, thanks, Jessica. Okay. Cher says, where are you working now? What do you do at your job? I'm still working for the same place. I work for a social media account management, a digital marketing firm. I work for a digital marketing firm, and that's my main source of income. I also work with Dr. B, answering the phone calls and messages and stuff like that for him, for his practice. And then I do like some side work where I have affiliate marketing with Recovery Delivered and self recovery. But my main job is social media, digital marketing. And I work for a company called Socialty Pro, the number one digital marketing firm in the United States of America. Ash says, I had convinced myself I didn't deserve a better life. Then I got pregnant in active addiction and got on methadone. CPS still removed my baby, even though it was prescribed to me. She is home now. Thank God. I'm so happy that your baby is home. That makes me upset that they removed your child, even though it was prescribed to you. I think that's really disturbing. I don't understand why that happens when people are taking medication that is prescribed to them. You know, as long as you're taking medication that's prescribed to you, you've let your OBGYN know, and, you know, everything's on the up and up. It really makes me upset that you guys, y'all's children are taken away from you, you know? Oh, that's a good question right there. Okay. Download. Okay, let's see. Good job, Jessica. I'm glad you didn't go back. That's right. Hey, Sana, what's up, girl? He is amazing. Okay, so a lot of you guys ask me this question every single day. So Jessica says, I want to work helping addicts. Nicole, help me. Honey, yeah. What do you want me to do? No, I'm just playing. What you need to do, okay, first of all, you need to decide what level you want to work at, right? Do you want to be a counselor? Do you want to be a psychiatrist one day? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to, or do you want to work like I do, like on a peer-to-peer level? So if you like to do things like I do, working with peers, working on a, like, just sharing your personal experience and helping other people that way, you can get certified in the state you live in to be a certified peer support specialist. And I always tell everybody, I highly recommend getting your peer support, because then you can be employed at a treatment center or a doctor's office. I mean, you could get a job there without it, but having it would make you worth more. Like, they would actually pay you good money to work there, you know? And so it's really easy to get your peer in any state. All you got to do is go online and Google, you know, peer support specialists, and then the state that you live in. And it will pull up like all the information and how you need to get signed up. So basically, you'll sign up and you'll take classes. You'll have a peer trainer, somebody that is going to be training you. You'll do intern work. I mean, it'll be really beneficial to help you to learn to help and work with other people. But it's the best. I think that a lot of people in active addiction or in recovery, active recovery from addiction, should go get their peer support specialist certifications. Or if you don't want to do that, if that's just like too much work for you, or you just don't want to get that into it, you can do like I do. And I'm just a person on social media. Okay. Like, I'm never going to be telling y'all I'm a therapist. I'm not. Okay. I'm not anything that I'm not. I share my experience online, and I do, I guess, I don't even like saying that I'm a coach, but you could call me a recovery coach. And with recovery coaching or life coaching, any person can be a recovery coach or a life coach. Okay. There's no like law or jurisdiction over coaching. Okay. Now, if you're going to be a coach, I think it's important that you like take some ethics classes and learn how to protect yourself and the person that you're working with, so that way you don't do any harm. I think that's really important. But you could do that. It takes a lot of work though. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have my coaching on my Patreon. And I think I have one person that I work with as a recovery coach. And I'm just gonna be straight up. I don't charge a lot. It's $45 for 1 month, and I make it super affordable because honestly, I just want to help people. But I always tell people that want to join my coaching that you can get all of my attention and all my help just joining the $5 tier in my Patreon, because I talk to every single person in there and I give my phone number out to everybody. So I kind of do myself a disservice, because I could probably be like making some really good money coaching people, but I just don't want to take advantage of anybody. I don't want to overwhelm myself with too much on my plate. So I do things in more of a group setting like we are right now. And so I know a lot of you guys don't know that I have a Patreon, but over on my YouTube channel, they know about it. And so on my Patreon, we have 3 activities a month. Okay. And we start out the first weekend of every month is my weekend. Okay. I spend it with my family. Then the second weekend of every month is movie night. So every second weekend of every month, okay, we watch a movie that has to do with addiction or recovery. Okay, so last month we watched the movie, gosh, what did we watch? Train Spotting. We watched Train Spotting. Okay, last month. This month, September 8th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to watch a movie called To the Bone together. To the Bone is about an eating disorder, about anorexia. And so we don't just talk about recovery from addiction, or we talk about all kinds of different recoveries. And so we do that the second month. Then the third week of every month, we do a Zoom meeting, a recovery Zoom meeting, where every person in that Patreon account, okay, that is on the $5 tier, because that's where I do everything, is the $5 tier. We do a Patreon meeting and every person gets to share. It doesn't matter if there's 100 people in there and we have to stay on for 3 hours. Every person is going to get the opportunity to share. And then after every person shares, then I give the group opportunity to share suggestions and feedback with the person who just shared. And I'm the one running the group, so it's super duper like smooth. There's no like crosstalk, there's no like talking shit, there's no disrespect. Like it was really good. We did our first one last weekend and it went so well. It was fabulous. And so that's what we do our third weekend. And then the fourth weekend of every month, we do a patron only live stream where it's just like we are right now. And it's centered around something about addiction recovery in life, you know? And then throughout the month, what I do throughout the month is I upload live streams and content into Patreon. So basically almost every single day, there's something for you to watch or take in that is addiction recovery related or related to something that's going on in my life. If I'm freaking out or something like that, you get to see that shit too. But that's what we do over on my Patreon. And, that, you know, when I lost my YouTube channel, that's how I was able to gain back compensation, because when my YouTube channel was deleted, I lost that income. And so I created the Patreon tiers, and I really started sharing it a lot. And I'm happy to report that we have over 100 people in my Patreon, and it is awesome. It is awesome. I have 4 mods who post every single day in my Patreon. Shout out to Pixie, Megan, Sherry, and Allie Lynn. Every single day, these women post in my Patreon and all my Facebook groups and in my Telegram chat. They post supportive content, positive photos with Allie, music and songs with Megan. Pixie does arts and crafts and like beautiful drawings and stuff that are positive. And Sherry does positive thoughts, like thoughts of the day and just for today's and that kind of recovery related literature. And there's so much support, and that's all in Patreon and on our Telegram chat. And I do want to put the Telegram chat In here, if one of you guys can link it for me, well, think I can. Hold on, because I know if you guys can't afford to join Patreon, because I understand it's hard times right now, let me get my Telegram chat, because my Telegram chat is fucking free, okay? And everybody's allowed to be there. And so, Telegram is basically just an app that you will download on your phone. And once you download the app, then you can click this link that I'm putting in the chat. Okay. And there is almost 100 people in our Telegram chat too. And if every day there is inspirational, positive content uploaded into that chat. We do not talk about sex. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about politics. We don't fuck around. Okay. It's like really positive. And I'm telling you, the girls that help me, that run it, Megan, Allie, Sherry, Pixie, because of them, that chat is so amazing. So I try to do something for everyone. I don't ever want anybody to feel left out. So if you are the kind of person, if you can't join Patreon or you don't want to, or you're like, fuck that shit, I ain't giving you none of my money, girl. I totally understand. And that's our Telegram chat. I just put the link in the chat. Okay, let's keep going. We're still going to be doing questions. Sorry about that. I just kind of got off on a tangent there, didn't I? Okay. Yeah, you can get it if you're a felon. You can become a peer support specialist if you're a felon. That's why MB, that's why it's important for you to make sure you have to make yourself a priority. Okay. You have to get insurance. You have to get your dental done. Okay. Okay. I'm just saying, insurance to me is not an option. Okay. If I don't have a job that provides it, I'm paying out of pocket for it. Like it's a necessity. You shouldn't be going without that. That should be something that is figured into your budget. Okay. Because you have to make sure you can take care of yourself and your kids and your husband and everybody else. Okay. So if you don't have insurance provided by your job, please, you guys, figure it into your budget and make it a priority. It's important to protect yourself, to make sure that you're healthy, because you won't be able to be there for your kids if your teeth rot out and they cause a blood infection and then you end up having a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? So make it a priority. Just like with your car, you have insurance on your car, you have to make that a priority. You know what I mean? So Mary Ellen says, where do I start peer support? Mary Ellen, all you have to do is go online and Google peer support specialist and the state you live in, and it will pull up the information on how to become a peer in the state that you live in, because it's different in every state. Yeah, I'm busy bee. I'm a busy bee. Oh, thanks, Brittany. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see what Kat says. Okay, so Kat says, do you think it's better to parole to a halfway house or sober living that is close to home versus an hour or two away? Hard to help if they are far away. So yeah, did this person struggle with addiction? If they struggled with addiction, I'm assuming they did. I mean, I would parole out close to home where I had family support. When I paroled out to Little Rock, which was about 45 minutes away from my mom and dad. So if I needed help or support, my parents could come and help or support me. So yeah, close to home. So that way their support system is close by. You know what I'm saying? So John says, would you help Jessica Kent if she admitted she relapsed and needed help to stay sober? 100%. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Honestly, I've talked about this before, John. Thank you for bringing it up. For those of you guys that don't know, there's been I'm not even going to get into it, but I have said this in my lives before, 100%. I'd be honored to be able to help her, honestly. And I would, really, really take her under my wing and try to help her make positive changes in her life. I would help her get help for her mental health. I would help her get help for her and her daughters, family therapy. Like, I would really do that. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I'd help anybody. Listen to me. Just because I don't get along with somebody doesn't mean I'm not going to help them. Okay. Like, I care about people. Okay. People. Okay. It could be somebody from my past that was my worst enemy. And that's happened to me before, where somebody from my past that I didn't get along with saw that I had gotten sober and reached out to me on Facebook and asked me for help. And I gave them help just like I would give anyone else, because that's the right thing to fucking do. Would you consider doing other content than just recovery from addiction? I followed during the JK stuff, but I like your vibe and how real you are. I can't relate because I've never been an addict. Yeah, I mean, KV, you would have to give me some suggestions on some things that you might be interested in doing. I have dipped my toe into a little bit of true crime, and what I was wanting to do for a while there was I was thinking about doing like a series on my channel where I talk about crimes that are committed by people who are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So that way I could tie in my experience with drugs and alcohol to the crimes, the true crime, right? And so that has always been something that I have kind of had in the back of my mind, that I played with a little bit. But it would be like a series. It wouldn't be like all of my content. Like, because at the core of my being, my whole purpose for being here in this life is to help others and be a mom to my son. And I get the most truest gratification, feel good feelings, support, love, everything when I'm in my element helping other people. That's when I feel my best. But I would love to be able to, dabble in that and have somebody help me, like write scripts. So that way I'm not talking just like some run of the mill, like coming on and I'm talking like doing a real good true crime video about somebody who struggled with drugs and addiction while they were in their crime spree, and really like talking about that. That would be something that I would love to do, but I would need some help. And I love doing like story times. I love sharing about my life at home. I've even thought about like doing some like vlog style content with my son. But I honestly think that would probably be something that I didn't post on my YouTube channel. It would be like more private, like on my Patreon. But I have thought about that a lot also. I did lose a sibling recently to addiction, and it's been hard. I find all this interesting. I'm just wondering if you consider other content as well. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for all the questions, you guys, and you guys can keep come on with them. I love answering them. Okay, here's one. Okay, how do you start to open up after you have been isolated and closed off for so long? Baby steps. Baby steps. Take it one day at a time. When we are in active use, a lot of us pull away from other people and we hide out, right? We hide out in our misery. We hide out in our bedroom or wherever our safe space was that we would use drugs and alcohol. And this could go for people that don't use drugs and alcohol. This could go for those of you guys that maybe just struggle with mental health, and you have found yourself isolating away from people, places, and not being a part of your family and pushing people out of your life who want what's best for you, you know? And so you don't have to jump into being a social butterfly and telling everybody your life story, right? Like one thing at a time. What I would do is I would start out small with making a commitment to do one thing a week that is outside of my safe zone, right? So, for instance, maybe having family dinner out at a restaurant with your mom and dad and sisters and brothers is something that your family does and that you don't really participate in because you're always isolating. And so committing to doing one thing with them a week to get you out of, you know, your isolation and to get you back into the swing of being with, you know, the people that you love and having that support. I think it's really important to take small steps. That's what I find works best for me, is taking small steps that I can actually maintain. Okay. So a lot of the times, the way I used to do things, I got to get my charger because my computer is going to die. A lot of the times, the way I used to do things and the reason why I was unsuccessful with these things was because I would try to take on like large steps, right? And I would get really discouraged and really down on myself when whatever step or thing that I tried to do didn't work out. And it was because I was trying to do things all at one time too much, right? Where I go over here and sit down in this chair because this is where the plug-in is at. And so taking it one day at a time, going slow, not getting too hyper focused on, you know, rushing yourself into making changes. I feel like it's like really, really important, you know, really important. And so, there we go. That is what I would suggest. That's what helps me the most, is making small little changes that I can actually keep up with and maintain. Like, for instance, lately here, I have been making changes in my diet. I drink 2 or 3 of those 68-ounce thermoses full of water. I have been stopping my intake of going out to eat food, right? And making food at the house, trying to make food that's whole foods, vegetables, cooking my own meat, right? And so doing those things for me is helping me to actually maintain the changes. Oh, that's me talking. Maintain the changes. Back in the day, what I would do, and the reason why I was failed at it all the time, was I would try to do everything all at once. I was trying to get myself on a calorie deficit. I would join the gym. I would change my diet. I would do all this all at one time. And then after about a week, I'd give up. I'd feel like a failure. I learned through my own experience that what works best for me is when I take baby steps. So try that. That's what I would do. Okay, let's see. Brittany says, this is random, but do you have any side effects from Suboxone? I had liver and kidney and GI issues from it. I also retained a lot of water and was always hot. I haven't had those issues at all. I poop every single day. I don't have, like, my temperature is fine. And I already have liver problems because I had hepatitis C. So I do have fatty liver disease, or I was diagnosed with that, a couple of years ago. But for the most part, I don't have really any negative side effects anymore. But I'm also on like a lower dose of medication now, a lot lower. Okay. How do you deal with being raped? How are you so strong and honest about what happened? I love you. Well, that's a great question. So I think I had like 5 or 6 years sober when I told the story for the first time about my experience with being brutally raped. Like, it was fucking rough, y'all. And up until that point in my life, I had always blamed myself. I always felt like it was my fault that if I wasn't high on drugs and I wasn't hanging out where I was hanging out, I thought that would have never happened. And for the longest time, I blamed myself for it. I thought that it was my own fault, you know? And in 2020, I joined TikTok and I started to see other women sharing their experiences of being raped and sharing about how it's not our fault and that, nobody should come into our own personal space without us inviting them into that space. And it gave me the courage to want to talk about what happened to me, my experience, And so I was telling the story here on a Facebook Live, actually, for the first time. I had never talked about it before. And my mom came into the live stream and my mom heard it for the first time while I was sharing on live, and I remember my mom calling me afterward. She was really upset. She was crying and she was upset because she wanted to call the police right then and there, and I remember telling my mom, it's okay. It's okay. I forgive him. I forgive him. I forgive him and I'm taking my power back. I know that it's not my fault. I know that I didn't deserve that. It doesn't matter if I was fucked up out of my mind, naked with my legs spread on the fucking kitchen table. No, nobody should come into your space uninvited. And I just constantly remind myself. I remind myself that I didn't invite that person. Okay. I was literally just getting off work in my Olive Garden suit and tie because we had to wear long sleeve white shirts that buttoned up with a tie that goes all the way down and black pants. Right. And so I just got home. I was fully clothed. I went and changed into a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants. And I was chilling on the couch watching TV, I didn't deserve that. And I didn't do anything. I wasn't asking for it. And like I said, a million times over, it doesn't matter if I was asking for it. It doesn't matter if I was skeeted out of my mind. Nobody deserves to have that, to be treated that way. And so I always remind myself that because for a long time, I blamed myself and I thought it was my fault. I felt like I was feeling guilty about myself, like was I inviting it? Was I being too sexy sitting on the couch? Was I looking to be raped? You know what I mean? And that is what society and men teach us every single day online, especially here on social media. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. The kind of little boy I'm raising, my son knows. He knows about boundaries. He knows about people's safe space. He knows about those kind of things. And he treats people with love and respect and kindness, But what happened to me was fucked up because it was somebody that I trusted, that I knew for a really long time. It wasn't like just some person that came up on me or something. This is somebody that I knew. And so it was fucked up, bad situation, but I know that's not my fault. I know 100% it's not my fault. I don't blame myself anymore. And I want to help other people who have been through the same experience not blame themselves as well. Because I know if I blamed myself for the 15 years afterward that, because it happened so many years. It's like 2005 or 2006, I think, when it happened. And it was right after me and LD broke up, and we broke up in 2005. And so if I blamed myself for that long, I know that other women struggle with those same feelings. And so I want to help other women not have that, feel that way because it's not their fault. Okay, guys. Elle says milk thistle for everyone. She had Hep C and she swears the milk thistle helped her clear it out. My viral load was over 2 million copies. So look into that, y'all. Milk thistle. Okay, I guess I can share this story with y'all if you never knew the story. So trigger warning, let's get into it. This is about how this is the story about me being raped. I'll make I can make a separate video about this, but I'll just tell you guys quickly. I had moved in with my friend Shane, and I say friend loosely. He was somebody who gave me drugs, and I had nowhere to stay, so he let me come stay with him for a little bit. He took advantage of me that I was a drug addict. In order to obtain drugs, he would make me, or he wouldn't give me drugs unless I would give him a bath, scrub him down like a baby, lotion him after he got out of the fucking, dry him down and lotion him and call him king. If I didn't do that, he wouldn't give me drugs. He made me, I would clean it, all kinds of like odd jobs that were really just like demoralizing, And so that's to set the tone for you. So I had just gotten off work. I worked at Olive Garden. I was waiting tables and hosting. And when I got home, Shane was not home, but our roommate Black was there. And so I knew this guy. We had hung out many times and he was cool. I never had any weird vibes from him. I mean, he always flirted with me, but most guys did, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a big deal. I didn't feel threatened by him. And, he was a big guy, like 6'2", 6'3", Black guy, big, solid dude. And he gave me a Xanax. He gave me half a Xanax or like a football, and I took it and we were smoking a blunt, watching TV. And probably about 20 minutes into it, he started calling me by my last name, which is something he had never done before. He started calling me DeMayo. And I was like, what, and it just like was weird. Like I didn't know why he was calling me by my last name. Well, he got up, which I thought he was just going to the bathroom, right? And when he got up, he went down the hallway, and then the whole house turned black. It was completely black. Everything shut off, like the power. He had went into the breaker room and shut the breaker off and deactivated everything in the house. So it was completely pitch black. And it was after 10 o'clock at night because I got off at like 10. And so that's when he started saying to me, DeMayo, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to take it. DeMayo. And he chased me through that house. I ran up the stairs. He grabbed me by my ankle and then drug me down the stairs and drug me into the side bedroom beside this like little office room. This was a huge house. Okay. It was a huge plantation style house in downtown Hot Springs. And so he drugged me in there and threw me over the side of the couch on my stomach and pulled my pants down and told me that if I did not give it to him, that he was going to take it. Basically telling me that if I didn't just cooperate with what he was doing, then he would beat my fucking brains out. And so I immediately started crying and sobbing my eyes out. And I was like, please just wear a condom because I don't want to get pregnant by you piece of shit motherfucker. You know what I mean? I was so scared and like I felt fucking violated. And then I was like, why is he doing this to me? Like, I thought we were cool. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, he could have just asked and I might have been okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, it was so out of left field. Like, I didn't understand why this was happening, right? Why was he doing this to me? Like, I'm the kind of chick that he could have probably been like, hey, bitch, you want to fuck? And I would have been like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was so uncalled for. There was no reason for it. Like, it was so out of left field. Like, it was really fucked up, y'all. And so it happened so fast. It probably lasted like 5 minutes. And then the minute it was over, I grabbed my keys and I ran out I hit the fucking screen door so hard. And I ran and I jumped in my car and I drove off and I didn't come back. I didn't have anywhere to go. So the only other person I knew I could call was my friend Tyrone, who was also friends with Shane and Black. So I called Tyrone and I was like, dude, this is what happened. And he was like, you get your ass over here. Come on over to my house. So I went over to his house and I stayed the night and I was really fucked up. It really, really upset me for a long time. Of course it was horrible. It was so like I said, it was just the worst feeling I've ever felt. I've never had somebody do that to where I didn't have, like, it was really scary because he was really big and really strong. And so, just threatening to beat me up if I didn't comply with what he wanted, it was just really uncomfortable for me, of course. And so Tyrone was really upset about it. He was fucked up about it. He was mad as hell. And so, the next time that me and him went by Shane's house together, I think he was getting something from Shane. He confronted Shane about it in the front yard. And Shane was like talking mad shit about me, basically saying that I deserved it. And it was fucked up. I really truly believe that Black had called Shane and said, hey, I'm going to rape Nicole. I'm going to fuck Nicole. Don't come home. Because I was always with Shane. I went everywhere with Shane, and he was like the person that I was with or whatever. And so I believe that they set it up. I believe that he knew I was coming home, going to get off work, and basically told him not to come home because he was never not there when I would get off from work. And so it was really just like out of nowhere. And so that's what happened. It was tragic. It was fucking fucked up. It was horrible. It was crazy because, like, when I think back to it, I think like what happened in his mind that clicked to make him think that he could do that to me. Like, it was so out of left field, and it was really fucked up. But that's what happened. And I'm sorry if that triggered anybody, but that's what happened. Yeah, everybody should be treated with respect. I absolutely agree. Yeah, exactly. And it's never I was just like, always I always blame myself because I just did. Who else was like, it was really, I struggled with that, I tell myself my rape wasn't that bad because I was basically unconscious on H and benzos. I didn't remember till later, but it doesn't matter if you were unconscious. It's all bad, Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that. Thanks, Tiffany. I appreciate that, baby. I really do. Hey, Leonie, what's up, girl? Hey, Lauren, what's up? I'm glad you guys are here. No, I did not call the cops. I didn't tell anybody except for Tyrone for 10, 15 years. My mom didn't even know until I got sober. I really didn't talk about it to anybody. I felt really ashamed. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was my fault. I really, really struggled, you guys, for many years, feeling like it was my fault. And so, yeah. It's horrible that all of us have been through this, Let me find these questions though. That somebody asked a question on my YouTube, and I want to answer it because I want to answer all y'all's questions. And so let me get these questions. Okay, so someone said, okay, how can I be there for a friend who's struggling with addiction? Okay, how can I be there for a friend that is struggling with addiction? So if you're a person who's in recovery and you want to be there for your friend, it's different. So if you're a person who doesn't struggle with addiction, you don't have to set as strong as boundaries as somebody that has a past history of addiction. Like how I help my friends that struggle with addiction is I let them know that I'm there for them and I love them. And if they're ready and willing to get help and get sober, then I will drop everything I'm doing to help them achieve that fucking goal. You know what I mean? I let them know I'm a phone call away. All you got to do is reach out to me and I will help you find treatment, therapy, any kind of resources you need. Okay. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with addiction and you have a friend that's in active addiction and you want to go to them and pick them up and take them to a meeting or help them get into treatment or whatever the case may be, my biggest advice to you is not to do it by yourself. Okay? Take another sober person who has been sober longer than you with you. Okay? With you to help your friend. I done this. Let me share with y'all my experience. So you guys know that my friend Tara, we were best friends. We were also in active addiction together. She's the girl who called CPS on me. Okay. After I got sober, she came to me and she was struggling. She was hallucinating. She was seeing people in her house that were not really there. And against my better judgment, I went to her home by myself with no one else. And it was very triggering. I didn't relapse. I stayed sober, but it was very triggering. And I should not have done that by myself. And so in my experience, it's just the smartest thing to do is to always have a backup, somebody to help you. So that way, when you're going into that situation, you're not going into it alone and you have, somebody to help you in case you're struggling. But, when somebody doesn't want to stop using drugs, all you can do is let them know that you're there for them. Here's some things that I would do for my friend, even if they're still using drugs. If my friend dials me up and says, "Hey girl, I haven't eaten in 3 days." Okay, bitch, come on by. I'm going to sit you a plate out on the front steps. Can't come in because I don't allow people that are high in my house, but I'll make you a home cooked meal. Love you. Okay. Or let's say they call me and they say, Nicole, I have an abscess and my fever is through the roof and I don't have a ride to the hospital. And I don't want to, go to the ambulance because I'll charge my fucking ass up a whole bunch of money. Sure, I'll come and get you and drop you off at the emergency room. You know what I mean? I can do that for you. You need cold water. I can do that for you. You need a pair of clothes because you are wearing the same clothes over and over again for 3 days. Sure, I'll set you an outfit out on the front porch. But I'm still going to stand on my boundary and not just allow this person to come into my home and disrupt my safe space and my stability and the things that I have created and gained in my sobriety. You know what I mean? So let me see what we all saying in here. Okay. So incredibly sorry you went through that. That could be a series. I survived, and you could have others on to talk about. I share advice. Talking about things makes others know they're not alone. Absolutely, KB. Naked next to my friend's brother, and still to this day, he still says to me it was the best. I don't remember it. So he raped me. Yep. Tiffany, I'm so sorry, baby. That pisses me off for you. I am live, honey. I am live. No, live. Okay, Elizabeth. Thanks, girl. There's a great creator on TikTok that supported her daughter through her active addiction. Melissa. Yeah, I know Melissa. I actually posted about her daughter, Angel. So Melissa actually reached out to me and I was able to talk to her daughter, Angel, and get to know her and help her. And so I actually made a tribute to Angel when she passed away because it really fucked me up because anytime I get involved with trying to help somebody and I get to know them and they fucking die, dude, it's so personal to me. And I feel like I could have done more, and I beat myself up about it. And Angel was one of those people that I really, really wanted to make it, Okay, this is a great question. What do you recommend for those that are in the place that you are or were recovering from uppers who then have to deal with weight gain on top of everything else? What has been the best methods for healthy eating that's easy and affordable? Okay, so I gained a lot of weight when I got sober. Okay, It didn't happen right away. I got sober in 2015. I would say I started really gaining weight in 2020 when the pandemic hit. That's when I started getting heavy, really heavy. And so, in my experience, what has helped me and what's helping me now to get back to my old self and be healthy is, like I said, small changes over an extended period of time. Like, I know that I cannot, to me, I want instant gratification. I want to be skinny yesterday, motherfuckers. Okay. And that's that fucking drug addict in me. Okay. The drug addict in me says, Nicole, all you need to do is get a couple of bags of methamphetamine and tweak out for about a month, and bitch, you'll be skinny as hell. You know what I mean? That's the drug addiction, Nicole. And so sober Nicole tells me that anything that I work for and that I want to make a change in my life, it's going to take time. And the more I work for it, the longer it takes, right? The harder I work, the more I'm going to appreciate it. So that's why, for me, I cannot just jump into changing everything all at once, because then I don't maintain it. These are changes I can actually maintain, which is, like I said, drinking my big ass thing of water every single day, 2 or 3 of these a day. I piss like a racehorse, y'all, like a racehorse. Okay. Not going out to eat. We will go out to eat as a special treat now with my husband and my son. But we're not just going to be ordering food out to eat every single day like we were. I am making the meals now. I'm cooking. Okay. Those are healthy habits that I can maintain and that I can uphold. And I know that a lot of you guys are the same way I am. So, and when it gets cooler outside, then I will add walking to my regimen. And we will walk in the mornings. Instead of sitting here and talking on the live, we will be walking the loop out here on the live. And that will help me to maintain that change in my life. You know, but I have to make small changes so that way I can actually maintain and stick to them. Okay. I'm barely going on 8 months clean from uppers. My question is, how can I get my energy back? I hate telling you all this, okay? Okay. It took me years to get my brain healed from all the damage I did with methamphetamine. Methamphetamine addiction, meth causes your brain to overproduce dopamine, more dopamine than, say, when you're eating a chocolate bar, more dopamine than when you have a fucking orgasm. Okay? Methamphetamine makes you produce more dopamine, any of those things. And so, can you imagine being a methamphetamine addict and depleting your brain's supply of dopamine? Because that's what you've done. That is what you have done. And it takes time for your brain to heal and be able to produce dopamine at a healthy rate on its own. So when I got sober, that's one of the main reasons why I got on Wellbutrin, because I was struggling so much with the lack of motivation and no fucking energy. No energy, okay? I felt horrible all the time. I got on medication and that helped me. That helped elevate it a little bit. But I'm telling you guys right now, like, creating healthy habits with my eating and my drinking is what's helping me even more. And I know that once I start walking in the mornings every morning, that's going to elevate it even more. And so every single day, that every time you can think of adding something healthy to your regimen that will make a change in your life for the positive, just do that like I am, right? I cannot commit to a whole bunch of things all at one time, or else I will fucking give up on it. I will give up. But I can make these simple changes in my life and then document it with you guys, and that helps me stay the course. Y'all, I have been making guacamole. I have been making cucumber salads. I have been making these healthy, good snacks that used to, I would have been eating Taco Bell. I would have been eating cupcakes, Zuzus, and Wham Whams. And now I've got cucumber salad with tomatoes and onions and garbanzo beans, chickpeas, black beans, cucumbers, all these good, tasty, healthy things that are good for my body and good for my husband and help him too, So my energy didn't come back right away. And a lot of people on TikTok, they get so mad at me when I talk about this online and I talk about how hard and how long I struggled with not feeling good, with feeling like fucking shit for years in my sobriety, feeling terrible, feeling drained mentally and physically every single day, but still getting up and pushing myself to make what I needed to make happen. Okay. From 2018 to 2023, like I was literally, all the content I've made, all the interactions I've had with you guys, it was something I had to make myself do. It didn't come naturally to me. I was fucking struggling, dude. I was dying inside and I was depressed for the majority of that time. Very badly, very badly. And getting into my new home where I live now has really helped me with my mental health, because this is my place. This is not my mother-in-law's. I don't have to worry about her coming over, moving shit around in my house, doing this or that. And that took such a load of stress off my shoulders. And so, I had a lot of situational like circumstances that were adding to my level of depression and lack of motivation. And now that I'm out of that situation and I'm into a place where I feel comfortable and I feel good about myself, even though I'm not where I want to be, even though I'm still very heavy with my weight, like I'm working really hard on making changes that I can sustain. And that makes me feel great. You know what I mean? That makes me feel like I'm finally making a difference. I'm finally doing what's right for me. And that makes me feel amazing. That gives me energy just thinking about it, because I never, ever really focused on trying to help myself or do better for my body or do better for my mind, because I was just always focused on getting fucked up. I was always focused on getting outside of myself and that kind of thing. Hold on. I got to pee really bad, y'all. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. I gotta pee. So anyway, that helps me so much with my overall mental health and the way I feel, because I know that I'm doing good for myself and I know that I'm making changes in my life, and that makes me feel good. And, anybody here can do the same thing, anybody here. So, okay, let's see. Hold on, y'all. Pumpkin Queen, I'm so sorry for your loss. Everybody pray for Pumpkin Queen. Good job just for you. Good job. That's amazing. I'm really proud of you. Okay, this is a great comment. So it's also very important to understand that the level of energy that we got from drugs and alcohol, that is not a realistic idea of what energy is. Okay. So a lot of us have this preconceived notion of how we're supposed to feel, and that's just not obtainable without drugs. Right. And so this is something I talk about a lot over on TikTok, like expectations versus fucking reality. Okay. The way that meth gave me energy, I will never feel that feeling again. I will never feel that way ever again. That's unobtainable. Okay. Unobtainable. And so I think that fucks with our minds, right? A lot of us, our minds remember that energy, right? Our minds remember all. That's why that's euphoric recall. Okay. So our minds remembering the good feelings, the energy, all that, that's euphoric recall. So what we have to do is we have to retrain our brains to understand that that's not an obtainable energy level. That's not a normal feeling. Okay. That's out of our reach, right? I believe that we can feel great, we can have energy, we can want to wake up and get things done in the morning, but it's at a like an obtainable level. Like me waking up on time to take my son to school, get myself ready like I have today, go live and answer questions and talk with you guys and be, myself and entertaining. Then after I hang up with you guys, I'll finish my work, I'll vacuum, I'll dust, I will, wipe down the window seals and all that. And then that's what I do for the most of the days when I clean and stuff, and fold some laundry. That's normal Nicole energy, right? The other energy I had was just like tweaker energy, so you have to remind yourself that you're not going to feel like that. Like that's not realistic. Okay. And if you are making yourself feel like you're going to feel that way, you're setting yourself up for failure, because that's not realistic. Okay, here's another question. Here we go. Megan says, what advice would you give? I recently went to my family doctor who told me after 2 years I should not still be on Suboxone, and that I swapped one addiction for the other because I feel comfortable where I'm at and don't want to change anything. She made me feel like a piece of shit and told me that I'm not clean and sober because I'm on Suboxone. I need to know who that doctor is, because I will call up on your behalf and cuss that bitch out. Okay, so first of all, that's surprising to me that a doctor who's supposed to be educated is not educating you and letting you know there's a big difference between addiction and dependence. Okay, so addiction, okay, sure, you could be addicted to Suboxone, but if you're taking your Suboxone as prescribed and you're doing your life in recovery, that's not addiction. You are dependent on that medication. Addiction is characterized by the negative consequences, the negative behaviors, the lying, the cheating, the stealing, the obsessively thinking about the drug and then going to obtain it and taking it and getting high and fucked up. That's addiction. Okay. Addiction is not dependency. A lot of people are dependent. What about the 80-year-old lady who is dependent on her fucking Oxycontin because she can't walk? And that she has to take it every day to enable her to be able to walk. That's not addiction. She needs that medication for her better quality of life. If I had a doctor that talked to me that way about something in my life so serious, I would get the fuck away from that doctor. I would fire their asses as fast as I could. It's healthy to have a doctor that is going to help you and challenge you, right? Maybe a doctor that says, hey, Megan, you've been on subs for 2 years. How are you doing? Are you stable? Do you have a job? Are you able to take care of your children? How are the cravings? Oh, everything's going great. Have you ever thought about tapering? Is that something that you want to try? Like, there's no reason for a doctor to ever tell you that you're not clean and sober because you're taking a medication as prescribed to you. Like, I wouldn't want to be associated with that kind of doctor. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. That's dangerous. You're already in a vulnerable position because it's hard enough to make the decision to utilize medication assisted treatment without having a doctor who should be the one that's there to support you, make you feel insecure about it. I'll tell you this, opinions are like assholes. Okay. Everybody's got one. Fuck that doctor. Find a different doctor. And if you want to taper, sure, you can, and get off if you want to. If that's not something you're comfortable with doing right now, don't worry about it. I've been on Suboxone for 8 years, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'll stay on Suboxone until the day I die. If it means that I'm healthy, I have my son, I can take care of my life, my husband's happy, I have a roof over my head, I'm providing for my family. Fuck what anybody else thinks. Fuck them motherfuckers. Okay? Like, seriously. I have worked so hard to get to where I'm at today, and people try to discount my sobriety every single day. Okay? People try to talk shit about me all the time because I'm on Suboxone, and I'm very vocal about my journey on Suboxone. And I'm telling you guys right now, every single one of those people who are critical of me, who are talking about my sobriety, it says more about them than it does about me. The fact that they are worried and concerned about what medications I put into my body says more about them than it does about me. And I don't worry about that. And if I had a doctor like that, I would run for the hills. I would change doctors immediately. Fucking immediately. Yeah, that's just, you don't need that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, great job, Megan. Megan, you're doing a great job. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Do your sponsor, go to your meetings, have your therapy, and utilize medication assisted treatment as a tool. Okay? That's what Suboxone and methadone are. They are tools. They are not the savior. They're not going to take your addiction away, and they're not going to cure you. All the work, you do the work. You know what I mean? And so, honestly, like I said, fuck that bitch, fuck that person. Like, you don't need them in your life. Like, that's just so fucked up. If I ever could talk to that doctor, I would really give them I would tell them, I would school their fucking asses. Okay. I would school their asses. Yeah. And so a doctor is supposed to look at like the whole picture, the risk versus the benefits. Okay. And so if you've been on Suboxone for 2 years and you've been successfully staying sober and you've got your job and you're going to therapy and you're working, just all the things, they all make the picture. You can't just say one thing, oh, you're on sub, so you're a loser and you fucking shouldn't be here or whatever. You're addicted. The whole trading addictions thing it's fucking bullshit. Okay. Addiction is so specific, right? Like, when you're struggling with an addiction to something because of the what you do, right? I I have been without my Suboxone before. Okay, there was a time where we were out of town. I couldn't get my refill. My husband couldn't get his refill, and we were both out of Suboxone. We had no medication. And you know what? We didn't fucking relapse. We didn't go out and get drugs. We didn't go and get high. We just fucking dealt with it, because we don't want to use drugs anymore. Okay. We're not trying to change the way we feel anymore. We're just trying to stay stable, so fuck that bitch. Oh, that makes me so mad. Yeah, I mean, I don't, Mary Ellen, your brain can heal. Your brain can heal. So if you want to taper off, you could taper off. It just takes time. Yeah, I'm still alive. Okay. Yeah, please go to a doctor that treats you with respect. Okay. All right, cool. Then I got through all the questions. Does anybody have any more questions? Did anybody else have anything they want to ask or that they want me to talk about? Is the gold that you're buying real gold? Um, Hold on. Let me share something. Hold on. Let me share this post. Is the gold? Ah! Oh, hold on a second. Hold on, you guys. Ooh. All right. Boop, boop. Okay. Okay, here I go. Okay. And when, yeah, that makes me so sad that she said that to you, honestly. I don't understand how a doctor could look at somebody who has made positive changes in their life and put them down like that, especially when they're there for like support, you know? Okay, this is a great question. Hold on, KV. KV says, has there ever been a time in your marriage and addiction where you and Neil almost didn't last? I mean, real talk, no. No. When my husband relapsed in 2020, we had just gotten married in 2019. We've been together since 2012. But when he relapsed in 2020, um, I was really afraid because we had just gotten married the year before. And I was afraid that if he didn't get sober, right, um, and stay sober, that I was going to have to leave him because of our son. Okay. Not because I didn't love him, not because I didn't want to be with him, but because of protecting my child. My son is more important to me than maintaining that an unhealthy relationship with somebody who's trying to still use drugs, you know? So when Neil relapsed, at first I went about it all wrong and I got very angry. I got very angry and I yelled and I screamed and I called him a junkie and a piece of shit and a motherfucker. And I told him he didn't love me. He didn't love our son. If he really did, he would be sober. And I just went about it all fucking wrong. And then I was actively researching and reading about recovery and codependency and different struggles that couples have. And I was talking to a lady who's like 65, 70 years old, and she was talking to me about a relationship she had and a struggle she had with somebody she loved who was on drugs. And I realized that everything I was doing was pushing my husband farther into his addiction. And so I course corrected. I course corrected immediately. Let me share some examples of some things that I was doing that were pushing my husband farther into his addiction. I was him so he wouldn't get fired. I was taking his debit card from him so he wouldn't wipe our bank account out. I was taking his car keys and driving him to work. And all of these things that I was doing were enabling him to not fuck his life up. I kept saving him from the consequences of his actions, so he wasn't experiencing any loss. Because Nicole was swooping in and saving him from himself every single time he would even get close to experiencing it. So I immediately backed up and course corrected and stopped. But it took me 5 months of doing all this enabling that I didn't realize I was doing. I didn't realize I was actually helping him to continue getting high. And I stopped. I allowed him to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. And 2 days later, he lost his job. He got fired from his motherfucking job. All this whole time for 5 months, I was saving him from getting fired from his job. I was saving him from wrecking his truck. I was saving him from bankrupting us. And all it took was 2 days. and he got fired from his job. He got fired from his job. He came home. He got sober, and he never used again. Boom chakalaka. All that time I was trying to save him from himself. Wasted. Dumbass me, right? I just had to get the fuck up out of the way and let him experience the consequences of his own actions, which is something that my husband hasn't really had to experience because his mommy and daddy would always do the same. So his mom and dad, his dad had passed away already. His mom, I told her, do not fucking help him. Do not do it. If you do it, you're fucking with my life. And she backed off too. And in 2 days, Neil had got fired from his job. And so he got fired from his job. And I had just got hired at my new job. And so I was take my family and support us for 6 months while my husband was without work, without insurance, without nothing. And I worked my ass off to pay our car payments, our insurances, our rent, everything. So that way we could stay afloat and my husband could take off the proper amount of time he needed to heal and get better. How is it working after getting sober? I need to start working again, and I'm really nervous because I haven't worked in so long. Oh, it's great. I love working. I worked outside of the home for like the first 3 or 4 years that I was sober. I worked for Hallmark, and I loved working. I really enjoy working, so it's not anything different for me, but I know it can be stressful for some people, but I really enjoy it. So it's been great. It's been great. Yeah, so that's what had happened with me. I took it personally that my husband relapsed because he didn't love us, that it was because of just with me being a person who works with people. Excuse me, guys. I cannot believe that I took it so personally. Like, I know better than that. I know better than that. But, at the time, it was just so hard because I felt so betrayed by my husband because we both worked so hard to get custody of our son back. So when that happened, it was like a spit in the face to me, right? I was pissed. So that's why I think it was so hard because it was just devastating to me because, we had just gotten Nate back a couple of years before that. And it was really emotional experience for me, really emotional. I took it very personally. Oh, Clary, don't blame yourself, buddy. Don't blame yourself. Okay. Okay. You talked about your parents during your addiction, and you've kind of talked about Neil's family. How was his mom during his relapse? Both of your active addiction. How is she now? So, my mother and father-in-law really struggled, you guys, with knowing what to do with my husband, and they did him a huge disservice. I'm just being honest. Okay, they know this. I've told them this to their faces. Okay, we've had back and forth conversations about this, and my mother and father-in-law always wanted sobriety for my husband more than my husband wanted sobriety for himself. So they were always trying to put him in therapy, bring him home to live with them, and just kind of, rescue him from himself. But he had to want it for himself, So they really, really struggled with setting boundaries with him, with kicking him out and not allowing him to just run their house, And so that's why my husband, I think, struggled so much in adulthood with addiction, because he always had somebody there to help him, to kind of pull him out of the bad situations. And so after many years of doing this with his family and his family seeing this, and then me getting sober, his mother has really taken a step back and seen that, what? I need to let Neil be his own man. And I think it was hard for her. He's her baby. He's the only boy. It's him and his sister, and he's the youngest. And she really struggled to let go of him. But she has let go and let him be his own man. And now he's thriving and able to, now he's doing really good for himself. Part of I'm sure I'll go through the same struggle with Nate when he gets to be a big boy. But we have to let our kids, be themselves and make their own beds, right? Do their own thing. And his mom really struggled with that for a long time. When we were both in active addiction, she was very, always in our business, always wanting to know what was going on. Always, she has this picture of Neil when he was intubated because of an overdose. And she would always pull this picture out and show it to us. And like just always nagging. Sorry, straight up. Nag, 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 nag. Okay. And that was the worst thing that she could have done because it just pushed me and Neil away from, we don't, that's the last place we wanted to be. That's the last person we wanted to talk to, which is a direct opposite of what my mother and father did. My mother and father said, get the fuck out. You ain't living here, but we love you. If I was fucking loaded and I called my mom, she didn't spend the 20 minutes I was talking to her on the phone trying to talk me into getting sober. She talked to me about what's going on in life. What was I been doing? She's been telling me what's going on with my little sisters and my nephew and my dad and talk to me like a regular person instead of sitting there and spending the time that she could have been loving me and letting me know she's there for me instead of trying to nag me and talk me into getting sober, right? That doesn't help, especially from your mom and dad. It drives a kid insane, and so that's what my mother-in-law would do with me and my husband all the time, because she's a worrywart. So anytime she had a chance to bring it up, she would. And it was just overwhelmingly annoying. And when you're fucked up like that, that's the last thing you want to hear. And so she has finally learned that, though, through the experiences with us and through seeing what happened with Neil in 2020, back and let Neil lie in the own bed that he made, and since that has happened and she's learned from that, she's been so much better. Like, she still is a very big worrywart and obsessively worries about everything. Oh, y'all have no idea. Okay. Y'all have no idea. Like, I have a pet spider, a jumping spider, and she's texting my husband pictures of black widows and asking, "You're sure it's not this kind of spider, are you? You're sure it's not this kind of spider, are you?" Thinking that I'm going to buy a damn spider that could kill me and my son. Okay. Drives me insane, y'all. Insane. I need a woman's perspective. Why do women leave when a man is going through a rough mental health patch and the man's not being abusive? I don't think all women are like that, Rob. I know my husband, he struggles with his mental health. And when he struggles with it, I talk to him and I try to help him. You just got to find the right person. You know what I'm saying? Relationships are hard. Okay. A lot of kids these days, they didn't learn from their parents. Their parents are divorced. So what they learned is when the going gets tough, I ride the fuck out. That's not how I was raised. When the going gets tough, I fucking hold it down. Okay. Just like my mom has held my dad down, just like my dad has held my mom down, and just like I will continue to help my husband in his time of need, and he would do the same for fucking me. Okay. But we both do the same for each other. We are a team. We love each other. He is my best friend. We have a healthy, happy, recovering relationship. Even when we were in active addiction, my husband loved me. He protected me. He wanted what was best for me, right? He didn't want to hurt me. And I think that's what is going on. Healthy relationships are a lot of work, and they're hard to come by because a lot of people don't want to work. A lot of people don't want to communicate, don't want to work together with their partner. They want what they want when they want it, and they ain't willing to put in the work to get it. And relationships are a lot of hard work. It's not easy. You're bringing two people together from two different lives, with two different brains and, two different upbringings. And my relationship is a lot of compromise, is a lot of communication. It's really, really important to have somebody that is willing to do the work in the relationship with you. If you don't have that, it's not going to work, And a man, a lot of times men will not talk about how they feel. And so if I don't know that you're going through a mental health crisis or a rough patch and you're expecting me to read your motherfucking mind, that's a problem. Like, you got to communicate to your partner and let them know, I'm really fucking struggling right now. I really need support. I don't know what's going on. But also, if you're just telling me that you're having mental health problems, but you're not willing to go to the doctor, you're not willing to do therapy, you're not willing to do anything that could positively help you in that situation, then that's also going to get up underneath my skin, because I can't do anything for you if you're not going to be able to accept help. All I can do is encourage you and pray for you and love you and support you. But if you're not willing to change or get the help that you need, then that can get really discouraging and really frustrating for another person. I know, believe me. My husband is the world's worst about having like an ailment and then not wanting to go to the doctor for it. And that drives me insane. you know Communication, yeah. So like, I sometimes, you guys, I will get really like emotional, right? And I'll get really in my feelings about like how me and my husband are parenting my son. Not discipline or anything like that, but like, I will get on like a tangent where I will watch people on social media and I will compare myself to like social media influencers that are, showing their content with their child, and maybe their child has like the most amazing room. And then I start judging myself and saying, do I not do enough for my son? Am I not, that kind of thing. And I'll get really down on myself. And my husband he'll say it. He'll go, have you been watching other people's content and comparing us to them? Because he knows that, I will do that sometimes, and it's the worst thing to do. Nobody else is me or my husband and our family. And a lot of times I will fall down in a hole, the comparison. And for those of you guys that don't know, comparison is the thief of joy. Okay. It takes the joy away, and so I get stuck in that sometimes. X used to weaponize when I would be transparent about my issues. That's not, listen to me, Rob. That's not the kind of woman you want in your life, then. Okay. That's unhealthy. That's unhinged. That's fucked up. Okay. Like, you don't want a woman in your life that when you are struggling and you voice that struggle to them, that they make fun of you and rub it in your face or use it against you to make you feel guilty or some type of way. Like, that's toxic fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? That's sick motherfuckers. You don't want people. It's so important, you guys. Like, if you're looking to get into a relationship and you're, wanting to be a couple or whatever, like, I've talked about this so many times before, but it's so important to make sure that you are equally yoked with your partner. Okay. Like, me and my husband, we sat down. Yes, we were high, but we sat down and we talked about our core beliefs as people. Did we believe in divorce? How many kids did we want to have? What was our religious background? How was we raised by our families? And we found that we had so many similarities, And so, like, it's really important that when searching for a partner, like, these are really important things that you have to talk about and get to know that person really, really well. I can't even imagine being in the dating scene anymore. Like, I'm so grateful that I found my forever person. Like, Neil's my forever person. He's my best friend. We are always going to work out life together. We are always going to keep trying to do better every single day together. You know what I mean? He is my best friend. I love him. I would take a bullet for my husband. I would whoop a bitch's ass for my husband. I would do anything for my husband. I would jump off of a cliff for my husband. Like, he is my best friend. I know that I can fucking depend on him. I know that I can put my life in his hands and he's going to make sure that me and my son are safe. Like, he is my person, you know, and it's hard to find that. Especially, like I said, nowadays, it's really hard because a lot of people in life right now, you guys, in the current situation with our world, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are not mentally well. And so it's a hard situation. And I pray for every one of you guys who are trying to, you know, make relationships work and get to know people. You know, it's hard. It's hard. Okay. All right, you guys. I love y'all. I'm about to get off here because it's almost been 3 hours. It's been 2.5 hours. So I hope I answered everybody's question that had questions of, you know, that they wanted to ask. If you guys find that you have any other questions and you want to send them to me, go ahead and send them to me. I will make some short videos. You know what I mean? I will make some short 60-second question and answer style videos where I answer all the questions that you guys have. If you have any more, just, you know, send me a DM or comment on a video and let me know, and I will respond to it with a video. But I really hope that, you know, you guys, you know, got something out of this video. I hope it helped you guys. I hope you guys know that, like, at the end of the day, your recovery is your recovery. Okay. And you have to do what is best for you, and your family, right? And so don't let people judge you because you're on MAT. Don't let people make you feel uncomfortable. Do what is best for you. Remember, those people ain't going to be living your life, okay? But I love you guys, and I'll see y'all on the flip side because I'm getting hungry. It's lunchtime around here. All right? All right. Bye, you guys.